On the profile interview segment this week, I'll be speaking with Honorable Wale Raji, a member of the Federal House of Representatives representing Ekpe constituency. He brings us up to speed on the updates on the need to end casualization of workers in Nigeria, how the bill has fared so far, what workers should be expecting. He also spoke about his role towards ensuring that one of his constituents received compensation after suffering from a workplace accident. Good to have you on the program.
Thank you very much.
It's been a long, long time. I think the last time we had a conversation was when you raised the bill. You know, for minimum wage then?
No, not minimum wage.
Contract workers.
Yeah, contract workers.
Yes,
you know, and contract workers. You know.
How far did the bill go?
Well, it could not. The process could not be concluded in the last assembly. And I think we are starting all over again. But the whole idea behind it, the objective remains the same, to criminalize casualization with a view to protecting the interest of Nigerian workers. You know, so that's where we are.
Okay, so very quickly, let's move on to a particular incident that happened some years ago, about 10 years ago, if I'm correct.
I think 2006 or 8,
okay.
Sort of,
and that's more than 10 years ago.
Yes, more than 10 years.
Because I remember very clearly that I actually worked on that story then when I visited the man in particular that actually suffered the accident then some years ago. That's about 4 years ago, just before COVID. Very quickly, I would like to ask you, what did it take for you to actually be able to get compensation for this injured worker?
Well, first and foremost, Mr. Tairu happens to be from my constituency. Even if he had not been from my constituency, for as long as he's a human being in Nigeria, it would have definitely have attracted my interest. But coincidentally, he happens to be from my constituency. And when the matter was brought to my attention, I mean, I consider it a duty, you know, to see what we could do, you know, to assist him. So that resulted in a petition, which we assisted him in putting together. And it was tabled, you know, before the House, you know, on, I think on the 16th of March 2016, you know. So it was referred to the Committee on Public Petitions, and after back and forth, you know, an award was made by the committee, but eventually we entered into negotiation and all what have you. So it resulted in the payment of 30 million. We secured an agreement with the NEMCO, National Electricity Liability Management Company. You know, so the inheritor of the debt of, assets and of liabilities of the defunct Power Holding Authority of Nigeria, PHCN. You know, so that payment was made in December. You know, 30 million naira, and Mr. Tairu has since received his money.
Okay, very quickly, as a lawmaker, an experienced one at that, generally, what would be your response towards the challenge of unsafe workplace? In recent times, personally, and I know many other journalists have done stories of workplace accidents, accident would even happen, the organization will continue to work or continue to do its business. As a lawmaker, what more do you think we should be looking at towards ensuring that we have more safe workplace?
Well, we have to work on the law, the relevant law. That's the Nigerian Factory Act, to strengthen it such that workers, when they get involved in accident in the course of work, are duly compensated. And even apart from compensation, the safety standard, has to also be looked into. There should be a minimum safety standard so that our Nigerian workers are not unduly exposed to danger while in the course of working in their workplaces. So I think it's part of the thing we are looking into, to review the law, strengthen the law, such that to take care of such situation.
Okay, generally we know that there are so many other people that actually fall into this category, whereby they will be injured, and perhaps many a times the company will refuse to actually do the needful in terms of compensating them or still absorbing them into the system. What would be your advice to maybe any worker that might actually fall into this category? And even though Tyro has actually received a certain amount of money, don't you think you should still be able to offer one or two services in the power holding system in the electricity sector?
Well, in the case of Tyro, we are going beyond the compensation. We'll continue to give him all the necessary support, to ensure that at least he lives a normal life, Although the effect of the accident was so much that, he cannot get back to his normal life. He lost his two arms, and but we will continue to. I may not want to disclose what we are doing, beyond the compensation from NEMCO, to support him. But definitely we are not leaving him alone. So as for those who had fallen into similar situation or that might fall into similar situation in future, I think that they need education on their rights as workers. But one of the major problems, we have is that most times they resort to legal action, which is very expensive, and it could be frustrating, In actual fact, Tyro, in Tyro's case, all attempts to get compensation, through the regular legal system in the National Industrial Court, did not yield any result. It was on it for years, before we came in. And to the glory of God, we were able to sort everything out, and it got compensated. So, but I think the relevant department in the Federal Ministry of Commerce and Industry, will have to be up and doing, and the Factory Inspectorate Division of the Federal Ministry of, they are not doing enough. They are not doing enough because they are supposed to force the safety standard, but I don't think they are doing as much as expected, of them. So these are part of the review. to ensure that that department, does what is expected of it,
So going forward again, I would like to take you back to the issue of casualization of workers in Nigeria. How soon should Nigerian workers expect that bill to, be presented on the floor of the House? Because we all know that casualization of workers is a very big issue, and especially in the oil and gas sector, it has actually expanded its ugly head. And we know that the federal government tried to set up a committee to look into it at one point in time, to look at the legal aspects, but it didn't scale through. It's a new year, a new dispensation, a new legislative year. Since you've started it during the last, so how soon should we be expecting this?
Definitely within this the first quarter of 2024, of this year, the bill should be ready for presentation in the House. Okay,
so do you intend to carry organized labor, organized private sector along?
Definitely. No law is passed without having public hearing, to which relevant stakeholders will be invited, to make their contribution, So mine is to present the bill. At the hearing stage, public hearing stage, all the relevant stakeholders, will be invited, to make contribution, towards enriching the bill, and such that when the act is assented to, eventually it will meet the expectation of the stakeholders.
Finally, there's always this notion about lawmakers. Many constituents, many people in the constituency always feel, oh, whenever you have a lawmaker representing you, the person's duty is to just come and probably give them money. Would you want to just use this medium to just maybe re-emphasize the role of lawmakers constitutionally, so as to ensure that people are aware of maybe how they can seek redress, rather than just probably expecting monetary award from time to time?
Well, the issue of the pressure on lawmakers for financial support, from the constituents is a Nigerian factor. And as much as it puts so much pressure on us, we'll continue to manage the situation. I'm sure that you, as journalists, people around you, for as long as they see you gainfully employed, they feel that, look, you should extend you should extend hand of fellowship, to them. Is part of our culture. We are brother's keeper, but people take it to a ridiculous extent at times, So the responsibility of a lawmaker is well known to everybody. Lawmaking for good governance, oversight, and also representation. Representation, part of responsibility of representation is what we exhibited in the case of Tyro, and also given our situation now, intervention in filling the infrastructural gap through constituency projects, is another responsibility that we have had to bear, So, but so far so good. We're coping with it.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. We're almost wearing the same color. It's going to be orange here. And that's all we can take on today's edition of the program. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ijasan. Thanks for watching, and remember that labor creates wealth.